Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those trophy list analysis videos. Today's game is Silent Hill 2 Remake for the PS5. The game releases worldwide on PS5 on October 8th of 2024. It is a remake of the beloved survival horror, or at least just horror classic, and it comes with 44 total trophies or 1,350 points. 1 platinum, 3 golds, 12 silvers, and 28 bronzes. So let's take a look at the list. So first off, you're probably going to see that quite a few people are already earning trophies. I believe this game had some sort of early access starting on October 5th, at least in some places, or maybe on October 6th. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that might be part of it. Maybe it's also just people getting early copies of the game through reviews and such. But anyways, the Platinum Trophy for the game is called You Made Me Happy. That is the trophy that you get for collecting all other trophies in the game if you are new to trophy hunting. And I do also want to go ahead and give my normal disclaimer. I am talking about this trophy list from the perspective mainly of a trophy hunter, not as much as a massive mega fan of the franchise. I have played through Silent Hill 1 several times, but I've only played through Silent Hill 2 once a couple of years ago for Spooky Month in 2022, so I don't have that much experience with this game, but I have some idea of how the trophies in that game work, and I am going to go ahead and say that the trophy list that we're getting this time seems to be quite a bit easier. So we start out with bronze trophies. I think this one's actually possibly ordered by bronze, silver, gold. No turning back now. Try to leave Silent Hill in the observation deck area. So I'm assuming that means you try to basically leave the game before it begins, almost like a secret Far Cry type ending. Enjoy your stay. Reach Silent Hill. That is an unmissable story trophy. Nice and cozy. Reach Woodside Apartments. Another unmissable story trophy. Let's not party. Shoot all the balloons in Woodside Apartments. I don't know how many of those are, or if that's like a new collectible or not, because like I said, only played through the game one time. Did have a lot of fun with it outside of only being able to see about 3 feet in front of your character at any given time. Otherworldly. Enter the otherworld for the first time. That is story related. Past. Make your way out of Blue Creek Apartments. I'm assuming that's story related. Uncanny. Meet Maria. That is story related. All seems in order. Discover the secret of room 106. That is something extra. From what I remember, you had to find specific items in a specific area to be able to open that door in the original, so I'm assuming that the remake is going to be doing something pretty similar. And there are quite a few collectible trophies as well, but we'll get to those a little bit later on down the list. Leftovers. Find the pizza in Pete's Bolo Rama. I don't remember that being a thing in the original, but again, it's been so long since I played it, I probably just missed it because I didn't know what I was doing. But that seems like it's probably a missable random interaction. Admitted, reach Brookhaven Hospital. That's going to be a story-related trophy. Nightmare Fuel, defeat the Flesh Lip. That is one of the early game bosses, so that is an unmissable story trophy. Alone again, survive the chase in the hospital. I believe that was always where you were supposed to make your first save if you were doing a 10-star run in the original version. So that is a story-related trophy, though. Into the Abyss. Reach the end of the long staircase. Again, I'm assuming that's story-related. Unforgivable. Defeat the Abstract Daddy. That is story-related. Inner Sanctum. Find his room. I'm not sure. I'm assuming that that is another story-related trophy, given what comes next and the equal percentages. A Human Being. Kill Eddie. That is an unmissable story-related fight. Glimmer of Hope. Reach the Lakeview Hotel. That is another story-related trophy. Scourge of Toluca Lake. Spend 10 minutes out on Toluca Lake. So that is basically the kind of trophy that is literally just for staying idle for however many minutes in any given game. That's a fairly common type of trophy that you see in a lot of games. But that's an interesting idea. I wonder if that means that there's like an Easter egg, like something in Resident Evil 4 where if you shoot the water, the giant thing comes out and eats you. Truly Special. Reach room 312. I can't remember if you get to room 312 in all the endings or if that's only for the more major endings. I'm not sure if the dog and the UFO endings maybe end a little bit before that. It's Bread. Interact with Bread. I think I remember actually doing that in Silent Hill 2 in that not the hospital, in that hotel at the very end. So I think that actually is something I did. Obsolete. Destroy what you don't need. So that is presumably one of the endgame boss fights, because there's a couple of different boss fights you have to do at the end of the game depending on what endings you get, I remember, because there's like 6 total different endings. The part of me, or that part of me, defeat her, that is the final boss fight on certain endings. Lumberjack, find the chainsaw. I believe that's a New Game Plus type of item, the way it is in Silent Hill 1, when you couldn't use it unless you had the gas can, and you can only do that on New Game Plus. Merciless, finish off 50 enemies with a stomp attack. That is how you pretty much had to do your 10-star runs back in the day. No big deal, kill 75 enemies with ranged weapons. That is actually normally a part of the 10-star run, and it has to be done in a single playthrough, I'm assuming, for all of these. Blunt Force Trauma, kill 75 enemies with melee weapons, so that is using actual melee weapons like the chainsaw or whatever else there was in this game. Again, I don't really remember. I think it was maybe a lead pipe or a tire iron or something. You never know. Try to open locked doors 50 times. I don't know if you have to do that in a single playthrough, but even if you do, that's extremely simple, extremely self-explanatory. Shatter, destroy 50 windows. I'm not entirely sure how you do that in this game. I don't really remember that being a thing in the original. Maybe if you just punch them with something might work. And now we get to the ending trophies, and I have very little knowledge of how the different endings work, because, like I said, I've only ever beaten this game once, a couple of years ago, and I legitimately don't even remember what ending I got, but people thought it was kind of weird whatever ending I got, like I wasn't necessarily supposed to get it. So we have Making Peace for the Leave ending, Vicious Circle for the Maria ending, Only Way Out for the In Water ending, Defy Even Death for the Rebirth ending. So those are the four sort of main endings. And then there are two joke endings. The Goodest Boy for reaching the dog ending, and Tinfoil Hat for reaching the UFO ending. Both of those endings do not require you to fight those last couple of bosses, so they're considered easier endings to get, and they are highly recommended if you were going for that 10-star run. And then we have I Saw That Town, complete New Game Plus on any difficulty, so those are all silver trophies. And you're going to be completing quite a few New Game Plus playthroughs because of a trophy that's a little bit further down on the list. Radio Silence. Now, this is an interesting one. Complete the game without using the radio. So that is what allows you to tell when enemies are nearby. Now, if you're playing through the game on the easiest difficulty, that's probably not really all that big a deal, because there are actually no difficulty-related trophies in this game as far as I'm aware. So that means you can technically do everything. Well, actually, no, you can't technically do everything on the easiest difficulty because of one of the later trophies, so we'll get to that in a second. But a majority of it you should be able to do on the lower difficulties. James of all trades, kill at least one enemy with the wooden plank, steel pipe, handgun, shotgun, and rifle in a single playthrough. So simple enough, pretty straightforward right there. Pieces Unarranged, collect all the strange photos in a single playthrough. And then we have Archivist for collecting all memos in a single playthrough. So we have a couple of trophies related to finding all the collectibles in a single playthrough. I suspect that there's probably quite a few of them this time around, or more than there were in the original version. And I assume that if you don't know the game like the back of your hand, you are going to need a very good guide for this, because certain areas of the game become inaccessible later on. So you're definitely going to want to have a guide up for those. Faster Than Fog, finish the game in under 10 hours. You can beat it in under 3. You can beat it in like 2.5, maybe even 2, especially if you're not going for like a specific 10-star ranking or something, so that shouldn't be much of a problem on a subsequent playthrough. As Close as You Like, finish the game without killing enemies using ranged weapons. That's interesting because, in general, at least in these first couple Silent Hill games, guns are how you get through them. But, I mean, again, you can do that probably on the easiest difficulty, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. So now we have an interesting gold trophy, because that was our first gold trophy. Party Like It's 2001. See all classic endings. The Leave, Maria, In Water, Rebirth, and Dog. So you don't need to get the UFO ending. So that makes me think that you're going to have to do all of these on the same save file, just the way that it's sort of written. I could be wrong on that. You might be able to do it on 5 separate save files. Well, that's not entirely true, because you've got to do a New Game Plus playthrough for a trophy, and you can't get the dog ending on your first playthrough, I don't believe. So I'm assuming that they all have to be done on New Game Plus, which means that the difficulty, I believe, does go up every time you play through the game until it gets to hard on every single playthrough for difficulty, and then either hard or extra for puzzle difficulty. That's how Silent Hill 1 is. I could be wrong about Silent Hill 2, but I think that's how the difficulty works, unless they changed it in the remake, which they very well may have. But yeah, so that means that you're going to have a minimum of 5 different playthroughs. I'm assuming that you can't just save scum this toward the end of the game. I'm assuming, well, also with that, I know that some of these require very sort of different playthroughs and playthrough styles, so it probably wouldn't work anyway. And our final trophy is called Echoes. Now, this one's a little interesting. Witness all glimpses of the past in a single playthrough. So it makes it sound like another collectible, but we don't know what those echoes of or glimpses of the past are specifically, if there's some kind of new collectible or are they cutscene related. And I guess we will have to find out though when the game comes out, but I'm not entirely sure what that's for. So overall, like I said, Silent Hill 2's Remake's trophy list is significantly easier than the original Silent Hill 2. For those who don't know, the original Silent Hill 2, for the most part, the trophies really weren't that hard. The problem was you had to get a 10-star ranking in order to get the green hyperspray for a trophy. Now, 10-star ranking in the original game required you to do the following: complete the game in under 3 hours, kill 75 enemies each by melee and by firearms. Well, you could also do stomping for melee kills, though. Thankfully, that counted. Save the game no more than twice. Use no more than one continue, which wouldn't matter as long as you made your saves in the right places. Complete the boat sequence in under 80 seconds, which is a lot harder than it sounds, by the way. The game had to be completed on hard difficulty for combat and either hard or extra difficulty for puzzles, but of course you could at least have a guide up for the puzzles, I believe. And you also had to complete the game while taking less than 500 points of damage. Oh, and you also had to pick up a bunch of the items, like 3/4 of the items. The damage one is definitely one of the hardest requirements, but there's no 10-star ranking trophy this time around, so unless that Echoes trophy down toward the bottom requires you to get a 10-star ranking or any kind of ranking for some reason, unless it's something like that, then this trophy list is actually fairly straightforward. Now, if you don't have to do that one gold trophy for the 5 original endings, if you don't have to do that through New Game Plus specifically, then you could just do 5 easy difficulty playthroughs, and it really wouldn't be a problem at all. Now, I'm going to assume that it's not going to let you do that, but just finishing the game on hard, getting some of these endings, probably isn't the worst thing in the world as long as you don't have to worry about the 10 stars. So I would probably put this game at probably about a 4 out of 10, just because I'm not sure about a few of those trophies specifically. But I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as difficult as the original. It's going to be one of the easier Silent Hill Platinums out there. And for time, I would estimate somewhere around 20 to 30 hours. So nothing too bad, because again, you can beat the game pretty quickly. So unless it's been greatly lengthened in the remake or something. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss any future trophy videos. And Silent Hill 2 releases worldwide October 8th, 2024. I will play it at some point. I don't know when I will play it, but I will play it at some point. Also, one other thing I noticed, I didn't see anything for the Maria scenario, so I don't know if it's even included in the game or if it's going to be DLC later, like what they did with Separate Ways with Resident Evil 4 Remake. Though that scenario is pretty short in the original, so I can't imagine it would be all that difficult for new trophies. So, thank you guys for watching. See y'all back here real soon for more trophy content.